Today, we're going on a journey to decode one of history's most debated maps. It's a 500-year-old document that some people claim holds the proof of a lost, ancient civilization, while others say it hides a secret from Christopher Columbus himself. This is a story of exploration, myth, and a mystery that's been hiding in plain sight for centuries.
So here it is. This is a surviving piece of a world map, drawn on gazelle skin back in 1513. When it was found again in 1929, just tucked away in Istanbul's Topkapi Palace, it immediately sparked this huge debate. It fueled all these incredible theories that, if true, could rewrite history as we know.
And the entire controversy, really, it all starts right here, at the very bottom of the map. This landmass, which seems to be connected to South America, has been the source of decades of speculation. Many people have looked at this coastline and claimed it can only be one place, Antarctica.
And that right there is the central mystery. How could a map from 1513 possibly show a continent that wasn't officially discovered for another 300 years? And not just that, but show it without its ice cap. Did some ancient civilization have forgotten technology? Or was the guy who made it, Piri Reis, holding a secret that changes the entire story of exploration? Let's try to piece this puzzle together.
To get to the bottom of this, we can't just stare at the map. We have to understand the man who made it, and maybe even more importantly, where he got his information from.
You see, Piri Reis wasn't some kind of mystic monk working in secret. This guy was a battle-hardened admiral in the powerful Ottoman Navy. He spent his entire life on the sea, from the Mediterranean all the way to the coast of Africa. He was a practical man, a navigator and a map maker who dealt with the hard facts of wind, currents, and coastlines, not fantasy.
And get this, Piri Reis himself tells us he didn't just make this map up. In his own notes, right there on the map, he says he put it together from over 20 different source maps. Some were ancient, some were from his contemporaries, like the Portuguese explorers. He was basically creating a greatest hits of all the world's known maps.
But among those 20-plus sources, Piri Reis names one that changes absolutely everything. A map drawn by Christopher Columbus, a map that today is completely lost to history. This means the very document we're looking at could contain a ghost, a direct copy of a chart made by the most famous explorer of all time.
Okay, but before we can go looking for Columbus's handwriting, or any lost continents for that matter, we have to learn to see this map through 16th century eyes. We've got to understand the totally different rules of map-making they were playing by back then.
The Piri Reis Map is what's called a Portolan chart. Now, this wasn't meant to be a super accurate satellite view of the world like we're used to. It was a practical tool for sailors. Think of it less like a perfect photograph and more like a detailed set of sailing directions drawn out to get a ship from point A to point B safely.
These charts had their own visual language. They had these crisscrossing lines called rum lines for compass bearings, and they were obsessed with coastlines, often leaving the inside of a continent totally blank. And here's the key part. They mixed fact and fiction all the time. Real ports would be right next to mythical islands, with fantasy creatures roaming the land. To them, these weren't mistakes. This was just how you mapped the world.
And if you look closely at the Piri Reis map, you can see all these features. They're the compass roses, the rum lines, and check out South America. It's got all sorts of mythical creatures, from dog-faced man to one-horned beasts. So this map isn't some weird anomaly. It actually fits perfectly with the map-making traditions of its time.
Right. With all that in mind, now we can finally tackle the biggest claim head-on. The theory that this map shows a stunningly accurate, ice-free Antarctica.
So this is the theory that really put the map on the radar, made famous by an author named Charles Hapgood back in the 50s. It suggests the map is actually a copy of a much, much older map made by some forgotten, super advanced civilization that charted Antarctica before it was covered in ice. It's a really captivating idea. But does it hold up? Well, once he starts to scrutinize it, the theory really starts to unravel. The claim that it's a strikingly correct coastline only works if you twist and distort the Piri Reis map a whole lot. Cartographers have shown the match is actually pretty bad. More importantly, the idea of a big southern landmass wasn't new. For centuries, geographers had theorized about a Terra Australis, an unknown southern land that they believed had to exist to balance out the continents in the north. So what we're probably seeing isn't Antarctica, but a 16th century guess at what should be down there.
And here is the final nail in the coffin for that theory. The scientific evidence from ice cores is crystal clear. Antarctica hasn't been significantly ice-free for millions of years. Its glaciers started forming 40 million years ago.
So there was no ancient civilization charting an ice-free coastline, because that coastline has been buried under miles of ice for all of human history.
So if the Antarctica theory is a dead end, does that make the map less interesting? Absolutely not. In fact, by setting aside the myth, we can uncover the map's real secret, a genuine historical treasure that's been hiding in plain sight all along.
Let's circle back to what Piri Reis himself wrote. He said he used a map made by Columbus. So if that southern part is just a drawing of Terra Australis, which part did he copy from the great explorer?
The answer is most likely here, in the Caribbean. At the top, you can see the islands as Piri Reis drew them. Below it, a modern map of the same area. Now, look closely. Yeah, it's distorted, but the general shape, the curve of the islands, the placement of Puerto Rico, it's unmistakably the region where Columbus spent most of his time exploring. Now, what's so fascinating is that this drawing of the Caribbean is actually more primitive than other maps that were made in the early 1500s. Its roughness suggests it's a copy of something much earlier, like a first draft of the New World, probably drawn by Columbus himself, or at least under his direction. This means we are likely looking at the oldest surviving map of his discoveries.
So when we strip away all the paranormal theories about lost civilizations, what are we left with? What is it that makes the Piri Reis map truly special?
The map's true legacy is so much more profound than any supernatural theory. It's not proof of a lost civilization. It's a testament to human curiosity and exploration. It's this priceless snapshot of a world in total flux, a moment when known coastlines, mythical beasts, and a brand new continent all crashed into each other on one piece of parchment. And most importantly, it is the only known document in the world that preserves a piece of Christopher Columbus's lost work.
Ultimately, the Piri Reis map teaches us that the greatest mysteries often have human answers, and the real story of ambitious admirals and determined explorers trying to piece together a new world, and that beautiful collision of knowledge and myth is way more compelling than any fiction we could ever invent.